welcome back to my channel. It's Just Read VI and I'm back with another video. Welcome back, you guys. Thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. If you're a Just Reader, you guys know I love you unconditionally. If you are new here, thank you so much for clicking this video. Even though you have no idea what it's about or who I am, I appreciate it and I hope you find some value in what I have to say. Now, if you want to check me out on Instagram, you should, because you get to stay aware of whatever I'm posting, and you know, if I have new videos, all my reviews are over there in full, so you could check them out. This video, I'm not going to be going too much in detail because I have a lot of ground to cover, so I'm not going to get too deep in the books that I'm going to be sharing. Some of them I have a couple stories, but I am long-winded. If you've seen any of my other videos, if you're a Just Reader, you know sometimes I could get carried away with, you know, I ramble, and you know, I'm very passionate about reading and books, so I definitely tend to be long-winded. So yeah, I'm gonna try my best not to do that and summarize today because I do have a lot of ground to cover. So I'm going to be talking about what I read, a little bit of discussion, mostly ratings, and then books that I did not catch in this video because I'm reading them or going to be reading them because they come out at the end of this month. So here we go. First book I read this month was Miss Pearly's Girls by Rashonda Tate Billingsley, and this book was nothing short of phenomenal. She's a phenomenal storyteller. There was so much unpacking in the story, just a family of secrets, and just how well her delivery was in this book. I was just blown away. I thought this was my first read from her, but it was not. I read a book from her years ago. This is actually the book that I read from her. And I just was like, wow, you know, then, and I'm like, wow, now. So definitely on my radar. I can't wait to continue reading anything that she has. This book, Just Read Stars, 5 out of 5. Phenomenal. That was book number 6. Book number 7 is Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. So I met Tessa Bailey for the first time when I read the story of Brenda and Piper. It happened one summer. And now this book, Hook, Line, and Sinker, like, wow. Hannah and Fox's story. Did I get it right? Hannah and Fox. Yeah, Hannah and Fox's story was just really good. The passion I feel in this book was an overload. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Smile, laugh. There's a little, you know, she gets a little PG-13. But that's her and I love it. So yeah, definitely recommend this book 10 times over. Phenomenal. I just can't wait for her new book that's coming out in the summertime. I created a to be read list on Amazon, you guys, and I am just in heaven. And now I know this is super nerdy, but I want to go in my calendar and mark the date of the books in my calendar, like on my phone, so I could alert, like, this book coming out today. So a few of the books I've already pre-ordered, but I want to like know for some of them, like, because I tell you guys, I had to budget my books because I would just buy a book every other day. Because that's kind of how I've been reading, which is crazy because I've been so busy, but the time been coming, you know, when it's nighttime. I've been staying up super late, which is a bad habit. But that's really when most of my reading time goes. And then on weekends, that's really my unwind time because the week's so crazy. The weekend's been a little crazy too, so that's been difficult. But anytime, any moment that I have free, I've been reading. I just love it so much. So this is part 2 in the Bellinger Girls, in the Bellinger Sister series, and highly recommend. 5 out of 5 stars. You guys gonna love it. If you haven't read it, everybody will like clamoring at the edge of their seats waiting for this book to come out. So I'm pretty sure everybody has read this book, just about. If you haven't, I don't know what's wrong with you, but definitely a must read. Next is book number 8 by Rebecca Searle. It Happened One Italian Summer. This book is to die for. It came out this month and I was so glad to catch it, only by the grace of God, because the alert came to my phone and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm reading it right now. I was just finished with Hook, Line, and Sinker and I was looking for a next book to read. It was actually going to be a Brenda Jackson read from February that I had just started, and I put her down and I was like, no, I have to read this book right now. This just dropped. She's a phenomenal author. I read in 5 years and I loved her. That was my first read from her, and I said anything else she writes, I'm gonna read. So phenomenal read. The story between Kathy and her mom Carol, finding herself in Italy. I just the cultural aspects that she shared, you know, the way she wrote, you were able to come alive, like see Italy just from reading. I felt like I was in Italy with her. So like just blown away. Blown away. Highly recommend this book. Definitely 5 out of 5 stars. Yeah, I enjoyed this book each bit of the way. I couldn't put it down. I feel like none of these books were easy to put down and take a break from, and I was just so excited when it was time to read them again, like when I had a chance to pick them back up. All right, book number 9, Berry Essential. So this is a book that I put down so that I could read one Italian summer. So Brenda Jackson, you already know, this is my fave. She's my girl. Like, I feel like these home girls, she know what I need and she definitely supplies it. Like, every single time. You do not have to ask. You don't have to explain. She just knows and she delivers it. Definitely, I've said this on Instagram. She's the GOAT of romance. This is it. She's the greatest of all time. For me, I'm matched. It's like every time I read somebody else and I'm like, this is great. And then I read a Brenda Jackson book and I'm like, case closed, story and wheel bend. It done. Like, she's it. So yeah, phenomenal. This is a story of Dominique Kincaid and Jordan Prescott. This was book 1 in the Voluptuous Women series. Book 2 is her sister. We'll get to that. 5 out of 5 stars. I'm not going to get too much into it, but I must read. This came out in February. I was happy to read it in March. For some reason, sometimes I get alerts, sometimes I don't. That's why I'm currently scouring Kindle to find out what books are new. What authors. I Google her, go on her website, find out this is for different authors, particularly her, and then I save them to my list, which is my to be read list on Amazon, and then I go there and I'm gonna be, like I said, marking my calendar for these so that I could purchase these books because wow, phenomenal read. Next was book number 10, which was Follow Your Heart by Brenda Jackson. Also, I read a lot from her this month and it continues. I can never get bored, never get tired. As the story's the same, it always changes. It's just beautiful each and every time. Never disappointed. Follow Your Heart, 5 out of 5 stars. This is a part of the Catalina Cove series, which I'm excited about because there's another new release coming out from this book, I think, from this series in the summer. Yeah, this series is just phenomenal. I just love how she just picks a series up and starts it and then it's like done and then there's another series and stuff intertwined, and she's still so capable of all of this because she adds books to different series at a moment's notice. You're like, oh my gosh, you have something new for this series, you have something new for that series. It's unbelievable. I'm impressed, as you can tell. So yeah, I'll just say my favorite part was when Roman proclaimed his love for Victoria on national TV. That blew me away, and just, you know, how particular he was when speaking about her, and, you know, just as like, wow, he's a man in love. So yep, just read stars, a must read. Book number 11, That Tether by Jane Igaro. First read from her, phenomenal. I was like, where you been? Like, where have I been? I've been on that rock because this book showed up on my Kindle, like in browsing for different books several times, been recommended, and I'm like, okay, I can get to that. And this is the thing why I created my to be read list, because when you in your mind just have a to be read list and you're like, I can see that book when I see that book. You know, no, it don't happen like that. You can keep seeing a book and you can always be reading something else and you can say, yeah, I can get to that book when I get to that book, but you never get to that book. So I've been preparing, and I happened across this book because it was $1.99 and I just buy it because it's $1.99. And I fell in love with this author. This first story is super different from the second story, but I love that. I love how she storytells. I love how she opens the door for Nigerian culture and just speaks so passionately about stuff, how she does romance, everything. It's so much more than romance. I just appreciate that so much. Like, it's so much more than romance. There's real life issues that she puts in the books. This book had where, you know, Nigerian girl having a child out of wedlock with somebody that was a stranger because she got pregnant after just a one night stand. You know, like, wow, that's deep. If you've heard or you aware of African culture, you know that's a humongous offense. So watching her work through that with her mom and her family was just phenomenal. Like, it was just a stellar read. I love it. 5 out of 5 stars. she has some new books. Well, a new book coming out in September that I can't wait for. It's on my radar. Like I said, once you like an author, that's my advice to you. Definitely check to see. This is the beginning of the year. I have so much books coming out this year. I'm so excited. This is a great year for reading. I am a book nerd. I can't wait. You guys don't know how excited this stuff makes me. Next was book 12, The Sweetest Remedy. So That Tether came out to 2020, I think, and then The Sweetest Remedy came out 2021. So The Sweetest Remedy is book number 12 for me, and it's just so good. Like, this was the elite of Nigeria clothes, Nigeria music, the culture, the food. The food got me. And I have a funny story about the food. Well, it ain't funny, but I have a story about the food. So I'm reading about the food and I'm like, oh my gosh, this stuff sounds so good. Like, I want to go to Nigeria one day. Like, wow. And then I go to this event with my job. It's called Taste of the Nations. You know, my boss invited all of us to go. We went and it was so good. And I happened across this table and I'm like, okay, what's this? And she says that's Akara. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just read about Akara the other day in this book. I didn't even finish, but I was like, at the moment I was still reading it, but I was like, I just read about Akara. So I tried it and it's phenomenal. And I needed more. And at the time I didn't know it was gluten-free. I knew it was vegan. But the way how it looks, I'll insert a picture here because I took a picture. I was like, I have to show them when I film. But it was so good. Like, I have to make it. It's on my to be made list. I have to cook it. But it just made me feel so like, wow, like I tried something from something that I read about from a whole other culture that I'm interested in. So yeah, really cool. That was like the highlight of my weekend. I'm not gonna lie. Definitely appreciated her writing style. This is about Hannah, a mixed girl who didn't know her father because he had her on the side. She was a side baby. He had her as like kind of like a fling with this lady he met, and she was white. Her mom, and he's black Nigerian. His father was gonna cast him out if he had ever find out. So his sister was like, don't tell dad, you're not gonna get your inheritance. And sadly, so he listened and didn't do that, didn't tell, didn't really be there for her, didn't raise her, nothing. He just sent money. And he died. And then she goes to Nigeria for the funeral and ends up meeting everybody. And it's a beautiful story. It starts off really rough, obviously. You're the outside child, you come in here in my mother's house, who you is. You know, it didn't go over smoothly. But in the end, she found the love of her life and really built a bond with her siblings. And I was just thoroughly impressed. Like, thoroughly impressed. Next was book, well, let me say 5 out of 5 stars. As you can tell, this book was just phenomenal. Next was How to Fail at Flirting by Denise Williams, another new author that I just found. I can't wait. She has some books that I pre-ordered coming up this year soon, like May, June, July, I think. I can't wait. Just read stars 5 out of 5. This book is about a girl named Naya who's work obsessed and afraid she's gonna lose her job because they were on the audit, and she just was in an abusive relationship, and he was still kind of in a workplace, and she was just so uncomfortable, and she decides to build a list of changes that she could make so she could unwind and let her guard down. And one of it, which her best friends challenged her to, was going to a bar and kind of just picking somebody up. And you know, she goes to this bar and picks somebody up. His name is Jake, and he turns out to be the love of her life. It was just a great story. Obviously they had some kinks to work through, but that's the gist of the story. It had me at the edge of my seat because he was married, separated, but married. And yeah, he didn't tell her, she found out. It was this whole thing, but it was a great read. Yeah, so she's on my radar, Denise. Like, wow. I just so thankful. I feel so privileged to be running into all these amazing authors, you know, and these great books, because I need it like desperately. I love it. I need it every day. I need to read. It just brings me down. I don't know what else to say. I'm just so thankful. Bound by Passion is book number 14 by Brenda Jackson, my fave. So this is part 2 to the one I was just talking about, with Dominique Kincaid and Royce. Dominique Kincaid and Royce. So this story was really good. You know, my bad. Royce and Michelle. I don't know why I was just saying. But yeah, so this is part two. This is Dominique's sister, and then Jordan's best friend. So we able to follow them, two domineering people. Like they have to be in control. She have to control the men she did. He have to control the women. He's love him and leave him. Like it's 2 seconds and then you gone. He on to the next. She's trying to do the same thing, but they fell in love. They connected and they fell in love, and the rest is just history. Obviously, it never goes on like easy with two people that like being in control. So they both had to like work through that. But if you know Brenda Jackson and you know the title of this book is named Bound by Passion, the passion was so real. It was literally jumping off the pages at me. Like I was in heaven. I was in heaven. I just love her so much. This is part two to the Voluptuous Woman series. I think I stated that, but 5 out of 5 stars. Doesn't disappoint. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get what you're looking for every single time. You don't have to ask her for it. Period. Alright, so my last but not least one, I'm currently reading it right now, is Dating Dr. Dill. So this book is just phenomenal. I love it. I literally just started it, but I could tell that this book gonna have me in tune. Like I ain't gonna be able to put it down. So I'm glad I'm about to start it as the weekend is about to start, because I know this book gonna be good. And I've seen people like when I went to buy it, I saw a bunch of people like sharing their pictures of it in with their reviews, and then it had like a lot of 4 to 5 stars. So I'm hopeful. This is another new author. I haven't read anything from her, but I'm super excited. And from that, now we're moving into Empty Vows by Mary Monroe. That comes out March 29th, as well as What Happens on Vacation by Brenda Jackson, which comes out also March 29th. So I'm excited about those books. Those books will probably finish the month out. I probably might be able to squeeze one more in, because that's soon, but we'll see. But that's really what I've been doing this month. That's quite a bit of reads, right? I was trying to make this video not so long, but I'm pretty sure I feel that. But anyhow, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, your thoughts on my thoughts that I shared today. And thanks you so much. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video if you feel like people could will enjoy it too. So thank you guys. I will see you guys in the next video.